Now, complete high school football coverage. This is 10 Sports First and 10. Brought to you by these sponsors.
Welcome in once again for another edition of First and 10. Eric Johnson here, ready to take you on the fantastic voyage that is Region Semifinals playoffs. So come on in and stay a while. And yes, you know how we get things started with a little bit of trivia. Check this out. This former Seminole District running back holds the VHSL record for most rushing touchdowns in a single season. He did it in 15 games back in 2017. Keep that in mind as we move throughout the show. As always, Chloe and Duncan holding down the fort on our website, WSLS.com/First and 10, bringing you the latest and the greatest, keeping you up to date, which brings us to our game of the week. We had two battle-tested Class 4 teams that know a thing or two about the postseason. Of course, Salem and GW Danville. They've only ever met in the playoffs, Salem having won every single matchup. But most of those games were in Salem. Tonight, the two were in the city of Danville, and that's where Brooke Leonard spent the night and has the latest.
Our First and 10 game of the week takes us to the Region 40 semifinals, where the 1-seeded GW Danville are facing off against the 4-seed Salem Spartans. A windy and chilly night. No snow, though, down here in Danville. Scoreless first quarter on to the second. GW driving, quarterback Nehemiah Cabell getting some help from his O-line. The drive will end in a field goal for the Eagles, and they're on the board first, 3-0. Late second quarter at 7-3 Salem. Spartans Josiah Persinger taking this one for a ride. Over half the field in front of him, all the way to the house to take a 14-3 lead entering the half. Third quarter, Salem in the red zone. Avante Fitzgerald says, actually, not tonight. The Spartans will have to settle for a field goal by Ethan Millard, and it's 17-3 with plenty of time left on the clock. Cabell trying to get GW Danville going, throws it up, and you can only tell by the cheers. It's picked off by Jordan McCadden, the sophomore, taking it the other direction. It was all defense tonight from the Salem Spartans. They get the win 24-3.
It feels great, man. We came out here and executed, and we had a game plan that we was going to win. Had to come over and take over the #1 seed, even though I think it was like the 4th seed. So we came out here, executed, and we did what we had to do. Man, we was playing lights out, shuts out, man. I mean, we know what we had to do. We had to shut them down on defense, so we came out here, played our hearts out.
But, you know, kids hold themselves accountable, and there's high expectations for them from their coaching staff, and they have high expectations for themselves, and for them to come out and really start to grow up and get seasoned and play the way they did against a darn good football team, couldn't be prouder of them. Offensively, there's some things that we need to correct. We hit some big plays, and they're in the second half, we were able to execute a little better and move the sticks and take some clock and do that. And special teams on a really a windy night, there's some rough conditions. I thought our kids did an outstanding job, particularly our kicker and our coverage.
Coach Holter said after the game that he felt like his defense hasn't really played that well the last few weeks. Tonight, they held GW Danville to one lone field goal. Eric, I understand that you'll have who Salem is going to match up with next week in the Region 40 finals.
That's exactly right, Brooke. Here we are. Jefferson Forest fell short to Sharando 20-14. So here's your Region 40 bracket. Salem, who will make the trip to #2 seed Sharando. These two last played back in 2017. In Region 5 seed, top seeded William Fleming had a slow start in the first round with Prince George, but it didn't take long before the Colonels got things in gear. That was against the 8th seed. Tonight, the 5th seed, Louisa County, was in town with one of the baddest duos in the high school landscape. Yes, Malachi Coleman fired up, but he wasn't the only D1 recruit on the field tonight. First quarter, we are going to check out here Savion Hyder following his blocks, making the cuts, getting to the end zone, 58-yard touchdown. He wasn't done. Still in the first. Hyder again, this time from 12 yards out, 14-0 Louisa County. All the momentum with the Lions, not for long. Colonels drive down the field. Jasir Preston at quarterback going over the middle to K'Ron Ferguson, dropping a dime right in between the defense. 24-yard touchdown, no PAT, so it's 14-6. Louisa still making plays. Caleb Brady looking like Tom Brady, going deep to Isaiah Holland with the sliding catch that led to a Lions field goal in the second quarter, 17-6 lead. Fleming threatening in the red zone yet again this time. Preston is going to roll out to his right, picked off by Holland. Louisa led 20-6 at halftime, but the Colonels put up 21 unanswered points in the second half. Louisa scored a late touchdown, but the two-point conversion failed. Fleming prevails tonight, 27-26. So here's your Region 5 seed bracket. Fleming back into the region final. They'll welcome in LC Bird, who pulled out a 17-16 winner over Matoaka. Let's move to Region 3D. Magna Vista has been quite the standard all year from the Piedmont District. So far in the postseason, it's looked no different. They hosted a Lord Botetourt team that likes to keep things interesting but knows how to seal the deal late. LB making the message clear down tonight in the hole. Your field, our game. The Warriors, however, starting out strong. Look at quarterback Marcus Scott connecting with Torian Younger. Long pass down the field in the first quarter. Later, Scott found a Younger again. They get on the board. It's a 6-0 lead for Magna Vista. Botetourt quickly responding. Tristan Overbay to Cody McConaughey. Long pass. Cavaliers go on to score. It's a 6-6 ball game. We go to the end of the first half. Cavs trailing 12-6. Scott takes a hit. McConaughey scoops it, scores it. Cavs led 13-12 at the break. Warriors still with some life in the third. Down 7. Ethan Dukes turning on the Dukes. Taking the ball down the field for the touchdown. We're tied at 19. But the Cavs ultimately come away with this one. Overbay down the field for another Cavs touchdown. They get this one 36-26.
I think everybody thought we were underdog except us. You know, this is one of these football games that we like to pride ourselves on. Toughness, discipline, making smart plays, not letting our attitude or, our lack of discipline beat us.
I had a good year. A bunch of good players who did what we asked them to do, and I'm proud of my guys. And we got a lot of them back, so the opportunity's there for some young guys to step in, but here at Magna Vista, we don't rebuild, we reload.
Elsewhere in the region, William Byrd, a comeback victory over top-seeded Abingdon. So in that bracket, Byrd will now travel to Lord Botetourt for a rematch. Of course, this was an LB win back in October when the two teams played. Out east in Region 3C, what a treat we had. Seminole District rematch between Heritage and LCA. I was there on a Thursday night back in Week 5 when the Bulldogs had their toughest battle of the season against those Pioneers. One or two mistakes derailed things, proving that the margin for error against LCA slim to none. Things were heating up in more ways than one in Lynchburg tonight. We'll pick this up in the third quarter. LCA is up 21-0, adding more. Tyler Jackson to James Dale, 25 yards down the field, 28-0 Bulldogs. Pioneers trying to stay in it. Aiden Slash to Braden Morgan. Morgan makes 4 Bulldogs miss en route to converting a 4th down. Same drive, they face another 4th down play. And guess what's going to happen here? Slash to Morgan again. They get on the board. It's 28-7. However, Bulldogs responded in large part thanks to some late unsportsmanlike penalties against Heritage. Justice Belford in the end zone. LCA rolls to a 35-14 victory.
The concern was we had some cheap shots being taken that were taking legs out and stuff like that. So the concern is not so much are we going to keep our composure? It's, are we going to get out of this thing healthy? I respect the heck out of Coach Bradley. I mean, when kids get chippy and stuff like that, it in no way is it a reflection on the coach always. And in this case, it wasn't.
All right, and on the road, Allegheny came up short against Turner Ashby 44-20. So your Region 3C bracket, 2 unbeatens meeting in the region final. LCA and Turner Ashby, a rematch from last season. Many teams can win the battle, but can they last long enough to win the war? When you have rematches in the postseason, anything can happen. Speaking of rematches, in Region 1C, Caneros returned the favor against Bath County just 2 weeks removed from their first showdown. In Region 2C, Floyd County and Glenvar get reacquainted in Highlander heaven for a trip to the region final on the line. And could George Wythe keep the good times rolling, or would Grayson County crash the party once again? Plus this. Welcome back to First and 10. You know, one of the surprise stories out of Class 1 this year has been Grayson County. A late season surge and upset over George Wythe earned the Blue Devils a district title. So tonight's rematch not only meant more, but it was personal. Thomas Mundy has more from this week's breakdown.
It's cold, it's windy, it's a little bit snowy, and it's everything that you want for some November football. And to beat a team 2 times in 1 year can be difficult for many teams, and that's what the Blue Devils in Grayson County were looking to do, while the George Wythe Maroons were looking for their revenge.
In the first quarter, both teams' defenses showed up to play football with multiple big stops. But the Blue Devils offense found the end zone first with touchdown pass from Maverick Goad to running back Aaron Peterson, 6-0 at the end of the first. And in the second, it was the Maroons' turn to put together a drive marching down the field and stuffing it in the end zone by workhorse running back Caden Irby. George Wythe takes the lead 7-6 in the second. But in the third, the Blue Devils found the momentum with a big pass from Goad. And the next play finding the end zone again for the Blue Devils touchdown, 12-7. Next play, George Wythe has the ball, needs to score, but the Blue Devils defense comes up big with the strip fumble and returns the ball for another Grayson County touchdown, 18-7. And in the fourth, it's the Maroons trying to claw back into this game with the touchdown up the gut, but the Maroons needed the 2-point conversion to tie the game, and corner Macrae Goad bats the ball down to secure the game. Grayson County wins this one, 18-16.
You know, we knew George Wythe's a very good football team. Obviously, we had a close one last time, and obviously this one was a little closer. Just proud of our kids' effort, man. You know, we've got some guys banged up, as they do too, and you know, it was just good that our kids persevered and we made a couple plays when we needed to.
While the Blue Devils can enjoy this game over the weekend, their coach tells me they're back to work on Monday. Here in Wytheville, I'm Thomas Mundy, 10 Sports.
And let's stay in Region 1C. Narrows lost a district battle with Bath County a few weeks ago, but could they win the war in the region semis? The Chargers have yet to meet their match this season, scoring at least 40 points each week. Snowy scene in Hot Springs tonight. Bath County quarterback Wyatt Campbell is going to get scoring started. He'll find a hole, and he is in the end zone. Bath up 7-0. All of their offense coming from their senior quarterback, Campbell. Once again, going to the end zone. It won't be his last one. Don't believe me. Just keep watching. 13-0 score at this point. Narrows needing a spark. How about quarterback Hunter Owen throwing the ball outside to Tucker Bryan? Going to go untouched down the sideline, squeaky clean. At this point, Bath County up 20-6. But guess who's back? Back again. Mr. Wyatt Campbell. Call him Campbell Soup because his game, good. Bath County rolls again, 49-14.
Really bought into the game plan this week. We knew early on it was going to be like this. It was going to be blowing snow, 40-mile-an-hour gusts, and it was going to be very difficult to throw the ball. I think we threw one pass, and that was one too many, to be honest. So we kind of set our game plan early in the week, and our guys bought in tremendously. And like I said, I can't say enough about the guys that stepped up.
So your Region 1C bracket, Grayson County will try to keep the magical season rolling at Bath County next week. Altavista, another one of our Class 1 schools that's been like a bag of rice out of the microwave. Hot to touch right there. The Colonels, led by second-year coach Matt Deloach, ready to roll after a first-round bye. Teams exchanging pleasantries before they get this one started. Colonels take the ball first. Jacorian Davis running through 1, 2, 3 different defenders the hard way. That will set up a short touchdown run from T.J. Robinson, 6-0 Altavista. Sussex Central would drive into Colonel territory, but on the next possession, Luke Tweedy puts it into it with a 4th down sack. Altavista back on offense. Davis off to the races, 37-yard touchdown, 12-0 Colonels. They roll in this one tonight, 64-8. So your Region 1B bracket, Altavista will host Buffalo Gap, who took down Brunswick tonight. Region 2C gifted us another installment of the Floyd County Glenvar matchup. The two storied programs meeting in the postseason for just the 4th time ever. Highlanders typically don't drop the ball in these situations, but the Buffaloes were trying to change things under coach Tim Cromer. Glenvar faithful braving the win tonight, trailing 21-7 in the second quarter. Buffaloes running back Sam Phillips rumbles in for a 2-yard touchdown, 21-14. A little later in the first half, Glenvar's Brody Doyot recovers a fumbled snap, finds Peyton Deal. He is the real deal. 8-yard score, 28-14. Highlanders leading into the break on the first drive of the second half. Glenvar's Glenvar's Carl Muse comes up with a big hit. Nick Wilson comes up with the ball, and Glenvar converts it into points. Doyot is going to hit Deal for a second time in the end zone. 35-14, right in your wheelhouse. Highlanders roll to a 42-14 victory. I'll be honest, after starting the season 3-3, I didn't have much hope in the Radford Bobcats. Yes, I know the defending Class 2 state champs, but they lost a lot of talent from last year's senior class. But this Bobcat squad has certainly shut me up. Winners of 5 straight as they hosted a pesky Gretna squad. Bobcats came into tonight's game ready to take down the Hawks. Gretna in punt formation. Tristan Tanks Jr. had his punt blocked, and look who it is. It's Radford's own Pace Prelude jumping on the ball to recover it in the end zone. 7-0 lead. Sean Logan finds Jamarius Jiggets, who makes this great catch all the way down to the 15-yard line. And just a few plays later, Jamarius handing it off to Demarion Hicks, runs down the sideline, muscles his way into the end zone for the score. We had a 7-6 ball game. Gretna with the ball on the 40-yard line. Logan passes to Tristan Tanks Jr., makes some great cuts, gets the ball all the way down to the 17, and with just 4 seconds left in the first half, time to get jiggy with it. Jiggets calling his own number, takes it in for the 3-yard touchdown. The Hawks go on to a 14-7 victory. So here's your Region 2C bracket. Glenvar will host Gretna, a rematch of last year's Region semifinal. And some news tonight from the Seminole District. Dustin Russell will not return as the head coach of the Rustburg Red Devils. This comes after he was at the helm for 1 season after taking over for Bert Torrance, who moved into an administrator role. Russell led Rustburg to a 7-4 campaign that included a playoff appearance just last week against Heritage. And as we leave you tonight, the answer to the trivia question. The former Seminole District running back with the record for the most single-season touchdowns, former Heritage pioneer himself, Elijah Davis. Thanks for the all-around support from coaches, players, and you, the fans. Join us next week for Region Finals action. Have a great night.